Mm-mm. Let me know if you can see my screen.
It's coming up. Yep, we can see.
Okay, perfect. So thanks a lot, guys, for giving me an opportunity. It's been a long time, like I haven't connected with Indian community for a speaking session. So thanks a lot again. So today my topic is football insight. We will be planning to develop analytics solution which with the help of Azure OpenAI. And as Jana has mentioned already, it would could be a expensive product as well if we are not coming up a optimized solution. So keeping in mind that we will be having all the use cases, business scenario to develop this kind of solution, and then we can have integration of our software with OpenAI so that it will provide some Gen AI kind of solution as well. So the football insight is like it's not only about football. Football is something that I used to play a lot, and I am doing some kind of part-time analysis as well for the football. So I just say like, okay, I got some proposal that can we have some analytics solution with the help of Gen AI. So can we develop? So I did some prototype on it. So that's what I was thinking. Like I can present my knowledge in this session that how can we develop a some solution, OpenAI solution, along with our Azure OpenAI. So my name is Ashish Sharma. I'm working in Kuala Lumpur as a cloud solution architect, and I'm Microsoft Azure MVP. Today, I will be guiding you how can we come up with a football insight with the help of OpenAI. So let's start with the topic. So before going for our further discussion on football insight or Gen AI or other this solution, we need to understand about the data analysis. So it's a process of inspecting, cleaning, transforming, and modeling your data with a goal of discovering useful information, informing conclusion, and come up with a supporting decision-making solution. And it also involves various techniques, including statistical analysis, machine learning, data visualization to extract insight from your raw data. So I hope everyone is aware about the data analysis. So we can move to the next slide. That is about the key step that is involved in data analysis. So in today's session also, like we will be reviewing architecture where we can see how we can mold our uh, football data with the help of data analysis. How can we mold into the clean data, which can be used for our end user. So end user can be our coaches, our team management, our players, and other management guys. So the key steps in data analysis is data collection, cleaning, EDA, modeling, and interpretation and communication. So it's quite simple that in the collection, we have to collect the data, raw data, I would say, from various sources. It can be databases, some sensor or IoT devices. We can do it from survey and digital platform. The data cleaning is a process where we will do the pre-processing and cleaning the data to remove our errors, duplicacy, and then important part would be the EDA process, where we will explore the data on the basis by doing statistic with data visualization and come up with a matrix to gain some initial insights. Then the modeling part would be there, where we will be applying statistical techniques or ML algorithms, or you can say the predictive models to analyze our data, and it will give some meaningful conclusion as well. Interpretation and communication would be quite simple. Once we will have the result of that our data, we will be sharing to our stakeholder in the form of report, dashboard, presentation. It can be any web app solution. It can be Power BI. Okay, let's start with our main topic, introduction to football analytics. So now here, there might be some audience which is not familiar with football, so they can correlate the same thing with cricket. Or if they are having a familiar things with other sports like badminton, hockey, they can prepare something like that. So here it's like football analytics is something where we will be getting a data. Now that particular data can be from your sensor, camera, You can collect your data in the form of by doing the manual process as well, or you can have some, you can utilize some API to get the data. So once you will get the data, it will be doing the same thing, cleaning, modeling, everything, to provide some kind of stats in terms of player performance, strategy, scouting. So this is all about the high level of football analytics. So football analytics, you can say like it's not about only the football analytics. It is correlated with the other sports as well. So and on a high level point of view, sports analytics is something where we will be getting the raw data. It can be from the sensor, it can be from our manual doing by APIs or by the XYZ solution as well. Once we will get the data, we will perform the modeling, or you can say like cleaning the data, analyzing the data, and prepare a dashboard or the reports, which will be passed towards the sports management team, and they can get some insight from the data. Okay, let's move to the next slide. I think so far there will be no issue or question because it's quite simple. But if you will be having any question, you can put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself. I will stop there and we can have a discussion on this.
Sure,
So
Ashish.
here, yeah. So here we need to understand the importance of football analytics. Again, I'm putting the football analytics as well, but you can correlate this football analytics with sports and you can just find some sports. So IPL is coming soon, so you can see like if we can have some solution for IPL as well. Okay, so the importance is there. Like there are few important that I have categorized here: player performance, strategic decision making, talent identification, injury prevention, fan engagement would be there where we will go for the revenue generation, and next would be our injury prevention. So these are the few things that I have come up, and here the player performance that we can get it from football is the player passing accuracy, the shot accuracy we can get from the defensive action and physical metrics. Same, let's say for cricket, it can be like the strike rate, uh, the you can say like as a bowler, how many Yorkers he has bowled, or how many bouncer he is bowling, what is the economy rate of that play. So in that form, like if you are correlating with cricket, so cricket has its own metrics, football has their own metric, hockey will have something else. So here we can evaluate with the help of sports analytics, we can evaluate the player performance. Then the strategic decision making, we can identify the pattern of our opposition team, or we can identify our own pattern that we have to build up. Or you can say, let's say a team is going to play a football match, you can identify, okay, we will go with this formation, or we will play like this. In cricket, you can say like, okay, we will be playing with Australia team, and we have a spinning track. So we will utilize Ashwin or Jadeja in this bowling track instead of going with a seamer bowlers or fast bowler. So that would be the strategic decision making. Talent identification and recruitment is like football. In football, we usually have a transfer market, and we have to discuss with the player and his agent to get that player to his club. Let's say take an example of Ronaldo and Messi. So Ronaldo and Messi, on the basis of their performance and the basis of their stats, we will pitch some salary to them, and then we can hire those players. Same is happening in IPL as well. We will having the auction. We will identify our you can do the SWOT analysis of your team. Let's say your strength is in batting, you want someone in bowling, like fast bowler is required. And after applying your data driven techniques on that particular cricket, you can pitch to the in the auction, IPL auction, that okay, we need this player, we need that player. And you can plan it out as well, like okay, this much amount is sufficient for this player. So I have heard like long time back, Ishan Kishan was sold around 14 crores, but the performance was not up to the mark of 14 crores. So I mean, the Mumbai Indians, I would say like it's a loss for them if they did some kind of course, they will doing some kind of analysis as well in the back end, but this is most important, like what is the requirement of your team? And on the basis of that requirement, you will put your money on that particular player. Second is injury prevention. Injury is a part of a game, but at the same time, it's important. Like our player will get our player will get a proper training plan so that he won't get injured. Let's assume if he will get injured, he will get a proper rehab time. And on the basis of his performance metrics, we will plan his training program. If he will get injured, we will have to plan a training program to get his a proper rehab. Next, and most important, revenue generation. So most of the football clubs are coming up, uh, they are putting up so much of money on the players in their club. So there is important to have some revenue generation. So few key points here, like they can engage their fans so that they can come to watch their games. Same with ticket sales, merchandise, sponsorship, broadcasting, right? So once you will have some data on the basis of your past record or historical record, you can plan to have some kind of you can utilize the Gen AI for content creation. Also, you can come up with some plan to how can we increase our sales for the ticket, how can we engage our customer or the fans. So these are the key area where we can say like that this is the importance of football analytics, or you can say like sports analytics as well. Quite simple. Like we have already discussed the data analysis as well. It is quite same that we will be collecting the data from our raw data can be collected there. Then we will clean that data, avoid remove the errors, duplicates. We will do the data analysis on the top of that data. We will do the data modeling and the reports for the interpretation and communication. The reports will be shared to the team management. Now, the most important thing is like football analytics, or I would say the sports analytics. How can we develop an architecture on Azure? So in upcoming slide, I will be giving you the high level architecture where we can utilize our data analytics techniques to on the team and individual performance. We can collect the data from the sources, and then we will prepare some kind of statistics so that we can improve the goal. The end goal would be we can improve the performance of the individual athlete or the team by utilizing our data and t- train it in accordingly, that we will have that kind of useful data that can be used by the team and management uh, to gain his the ultimate goal. Okay, so there are the key components that we will be using in our football analytics architecture on Azure. That would be the data factory, Databricks. Okay, so here in Azure Databricks, I'm using Azure Databricks, but you can utilize the Synapse Analytics as well. Sorry for that. We can utilize the Azure Synapse Analytics as well. Data Lake would be for the storage of data, Event Hub for the streaming live data as well, machine learning to train the model. Database would be the RDMS database we will be using, where all the we can treat it as a reporting database as well. Power BI and Azure App Service for the and goal reporting. So the architecture would look like this. So we will be okay. Now the simply okay, before going deep dive to this architecture, anyone is having any question or doubts, let me know. If no question, so basically here what we are discussing is we are taking a sports and we will be applying our data analysis technique over there. And the ultimate goal is to create some Gen AI solution on the top of it, which will be helping team management. He can just chat it with the Gen AI solution and he can get the result as well. But before going to the Gen AI solution, we need to understand how this sports analytics or football analytics work, because every second is having so much of data. So let's say you are watching a game on ESPN. So much of data is coming from the feeds, from raw data, it may be manual data, from the IoT devices, from camera, and then it is storing in some storage account, and then it is visualizing it. So I'm hoping there is no question, so I can proceed. Okay, let's start this. So we have the static data sources would be there, and we will be having a IoT data. So we are assuming that the data IoT devices are is connected with some cameras, and that is providing some streamlines, some streaming data as well. So let's start with the step number one, where the static data is going to data factory here in the top of ingest is there. So Azure Data Factory ingests the raw data from several data sources and store in the data lake storage for downstream processing. And since the some data would be large and might not need the raw data to be stored in data lake storage as well, but since we can store in the Azure data lake, since the data would be, and the Azure data lake storage is having a feature that it can store the data in PBs as well. So high amount of data can be stored here. For the processing, in the step number 2, we can see like the process for the processing, it is going to Databricks and it is transforming the raw data and removing the errors and normalize it as well. And it is going to raw data to the silver layer and gold layer. So the last one is the gold layer, which is the clean and optimized data, which is required. So once the processing is done with the Azure Databricks, and of course, like we are utilizing Azure Databricks here, but you can also use Azure Synapse Analytics here. So once the data will be stored in our Azure Data Lake storage, after completion of step number 2, 3, and 5, we can store the data or the final data to our reporting tool. So that reporting tool can be our Azure database, or you can also store um, in our other sources as well, if you have some third-party integration also. So once it is done, for the final modeling, for utilizing our Azure ML to perform the EDA, we can use our statistical techniques, or if we have the pre-trained models, we can use that, or we can create our own training models or ML ops with the help of Azure Databricks or Azure ML. Once it is done, it will again store to the SQL database. And for the presentation, or you can say like the final report can be visualized in Power BI app service or Power Apps as well. On the Along with this complete architecture, we will be having using some other services as well. That is Microsoft Defender, which will be securing our subscription resource group and all the Azure resources. Cost management would be there, which will be helping us to track our billing. Azure Monitor for our alert and checking our health of our resources. Key Vault would be used for the secret management. Azure AD, which is also known as now Entra ID, for the user management and the group management. And Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps will be responsible to have our CI/CD pipeline. Here also we can also utilize our AK solution for the presentation layer as well. But depending on your requirement, sometimes you can only use Power BI, that is sufficient enough, or you may require any web application, you can use this one, Azure App Service, or you can create your own REST API as well. As per the business requirement, you can use that one. So any question in this architecture? And this architecture basically is, we are taking this architecture from Azure reference architecture. So it's quite same from which is recommended by Azure. But as per your business requirement, you can change your these services. And again, the cost would be there. So sometimes it may be possible, like you may not require Azure Databricks or data factory, since you are utilizing the few API which is already clean, or they are coming up in some model trained data. So you can remove these few Azure services as well. So again, depending on your business requirement, you can change this architecture. But on a high level architecture overview, I would say like this is the data where you can utilize the Azure services to streamline your football analytics or sports analytics solution, and it can be used for your live data as well, live streaming data as well. Okay, by the way, any question on this architecture? Mm, mm, mm.
I can understand that there is stream data sources, but what is the static data sources for a sport?
Okay, so static data sources, let's say you have a historical data is going on, like, okay, let's take an example of cricket. We can take an example of MS Dhoni. MS Dhoni has played so many games. and his already data is stored for 2019 season, 2020 season, 2021 season is already stored in our databases. And now we need to check the databases, which is already there, but it's in the form of raw data. So we can utilize that static data as well. Sometimes, let's say a player is playing some in a particular game he is playing and we want to have some data from other sources that can be a API, but that particular data is not that accurate or clean. So we can store in some databases as well. And there are few so many APIs are there. Like Kraken is providing the APIs where you can just get the data stored in your databases and start moving it. Or I would say, like, if you have a direct API, you can directly put these API directly to your data factory, or you can just simply go for the Azure Databricks. So static data is like, it's a kind of, it's a data which is from not a kind of IoT devices. So that's why I just separated this to like a live streaming data would be from the IoT, and while these static data would be some sort of APIs or the prehistorical data which is already stored, or some data which can be stored in the form of PDF files or raw data would be.
Yeah, thank you, Ashish.
Mhm. Okay, next, let's move to our next slide where we will be discussing about the high level overview of football insight using your Gen AI solution. So since, okay, Gen AI is refers to a artificial intelligence that can generate your new content, images, text, and the patterns, or basically it's kind of generative which can create a content for you. And it works by analyzing your last data set and understand your the structure and come up with some new original, not original content, but yeah, it will come up with a content that match your patterns. And it is kind of, I would say in simple words, it's a kind of creative assistant that come up with the new ideas or create new things by learning the existing data set. Now we already have a data set which is processed from our Databricks or our machine learning models. And we have already stored somewhere, and it can be a blob storage, it can be your databases, it can be in the form of some files and other formats. But we are assuming that we already done our cleaning part and we have the data. So now Gen AI, we have to implement on the top of our that particular data. So in short, I will summarize everything. Like we have already done the data collection, data processing has been done. We have trained our model. We get some kind of basic insight from there. And now we have already deployed to our Power BI or some databases. Now we will implement on the top of that particular data, we will implement our OpenAI. So again, this is one of the architecture for Azure OpenAI, where we can assume that the app or UX would be like mm, an application, like a chatbot application would be there, and it is giving sending the request to our app server, and our Azure AI, or you can say Azure Cognitive Search, will be getting the data, or it will query the data from indexing our data from our data sources, while the prompt and knowledge responsive will be come from our Azure OpenAI solution. So the data collect and storage would be done in blob storage in our demo part. Analysis and everything is already done. And what we need to do it, we need to integrate our OpenAI solution, Azure OpenAI solution, with our application. So in short, we have already announced OpenAI solution, and few models are already there, like GPT-4 Turbo, GPT Turbo with Vision, Delhi solution for image generation. It's already there, and we have already come up with a new service that is in right now. It's in the previous stage, that is Azure AI Studio. So I utilize this Azure AI Studio to prepare a POC for Gen AI solution along with the football analytics. So Azure AI Studio currently is in the preview stage, where you can just train your data, and it comes with a solution like Hub and Project. And the most important thing here is like you can have other models as well. Yeah, like Azure AI solution would be there. Then you will be having, you can classify your models from text classification, token classification, and you can also explore your catalog, model catalog here. So already it has a Hugging Face. Mistral AI is already there. I think it's not here in the this is screenshot, but you can see the Mistral AI as well. Azure OpenAI solution would be there, and NVIDIA solution is also available. The most important one more feature is available for Azure AI Studios. Like you can also check your benchmark. You can check the accuracy level of your models, and on the basis of your best accuracy, you can select your model as well. Also, it has a feature of train with your own data source. So you can add your data source here. It can be on blob storage. So in this example, we will be storing the data in the blob storage and try to get some insight for that generation solution. The next thing that is most important here, like it's a kind of trade-off. So the easy and the cheap solution would be like the prompt engineering with the context, but it won't provide that kind of quality. But if you will go with the retrieval augmented generation, it will give you some quality, but at the same time, you have to uh, perform some kind of efforts would be required to there. Then fine-tune model, it will comes with the quality, but you have to invest your time for the development of fine-tuning model. And the last one would be the train model. It would be some expensive solution would be there. You have to spend some more time, but the quality of that particular model would be important. So from this diagram, we can assume that, okay, the if you want to have the some easiest and the cheap solution, I won't use the word cheap. But if you want to utilize the easy solution, it will be like prompt engineering you can utilize on OpenAI, but the quality won't be there. But if you will be having the trained model after spending so much of efforts to train that model, your quality would be there, but at the same time, it will be requires so much of investment and efforts to train that model. So just going a quick recap on the service that we will be using here. So Azure AI solution, I'm using Azure AI Studio where we will be creating a project, and the project will come inside the hub where we will be having an OpenAI solution. The storage would be there in the storage account, and then we will be using one of the model. I will be using GPT-3 just for a POC purpose. But if you will be having a trained model, that will provide you the better quality. Our data will be stored in the storage account, and I think, yeah, I think then let's move to our use cases. But before that use cases, is there any issue or is there any queries related to Azure OpenAI? I think you have learned a lot from our previous session as well about OpenAI. So I'm not stretching a lot on Azure OpenAI, but we will be using Azure OpenAI to create a Gen AI solution with football analytics. If no question, then we can move ahead to understand the use cases. Okay, as I have already mentioned before that the importance of football analytics, like first requirement, or you can say the use case after creating this Gen AI solution is player performance analysis. So I would say the business problem right now is like football clubs, coaches may need insight of the individual player performance so that they can optimize their team selection, they can create their own strategy, and they can plan the training plans according to the player as well to enhance the performance of a player. Same in cricket. Actually, in cricket, it's already saturated because we have so many companies which are working on cricket. In IPL, you can see like so many insights would be there for the players. But there is a scope for other sports like football, hockey, where the requirement from the national coaches would be we need some player performance data so that they can optimize their player team selection. So here, with the help of GenAI solution, once if we have the data, we can generate the detailed player profile, performance evaluation, or you can say the scouting report, which will that report will help the team management and select the potential playing position, and they can optimize their tactical analysis as well. Uh, the second one is again the tactical analysis. So every match will have some different strategy. So in football, we have to analyze the opposition team to prepare our strategy. Same in cricket. Let's say we are playing in Bangalore. The pitch, the most of the time it will be the batting pitch. So we have to optimize accordingly. So the business problem here is like the football coaches or the coaches of other sports may require the analysis related to opposition team, tactics, strength, weakness, potential strategy, or you can say the pattern, which they will be planning to implement in this upcoming match. And with the help of Gen AI solution, we can analyze the team performance on the basis of stats. We can see their patterns, how they are doing the transition play, set pieces analysis, and generate some insights or the detailed insights for the potential vulnerabilities and areas where we can exploit the opposition team during the match. The next use cases is transfer market analysis. As I have already mentioned that the team management has the some limited budget. So they have to optimize their budget to buy new players, to sign new players. So the problem here is like the team management may need insight of the player evaluation, market trend, potential transfer agents, so that they can plan the strategy so that they will uh, hire or they can buy the players or sign the players as per the player value, market demand, and the potential transfer fees. And with the help of Gen AI, we can provide the assessment of player market value, potential transfer destination, and optimal transfer strategy for any club and agent. Same in a cricket, whenever you can see the IPL auction, uh, there is so much of data analysis going on behind the scene where every player is analyzed, and on the basis of his current performance, they are bidding. So right now, I think after World Cup, you can see there was a high pricing for Mitchell Stark and Pat Cummins. It is because of that, like they were in the best form and their performance was quite good. That's why they got some high bids, or you can say the high pricing for in the IPL auction. And most of the Australian players were on high players because the performance of those players was quite good. And I hope like there will be some cricket analysis who are analyzing their trend, and that's why they get some high price. Next use case is the football clubs aim to minimize the player injuries and optimize their squad fitness to maintain their performance level throughout the season. Um, in if you are following English Premier League or any European league, so the league is happening for entire year. In IPL, you can say like it will happen for 2 to 3 months, but in most of the football leagues, it is happening for the entire year. So if you have signed some best player, you have to make sure like that player is fit enough, and with the help of that player performance, it will enhance the performance of the entire team. So here, the Gen AI can predict the injury risk by optimizing his fitness levels and identify factors which can contribute to injury. Let's say there's a football player who got injured by ACL or some other injury. So you have to plan a training plan so that he won't get injured by performing some particular training. One example is here, Neymar joined Al Hilal uh, club recently. I think not recently, I think last year, but he got injured, due to which he was not able to play much of the most of the matches in Al Hilal Saudi Arabia club. So which is a loss of the club that they have to pay for the player season fees, but the player is not ready to play any further matches. Risk assessment, one example would be for cricket as well. Let's say any player is injured and IPL auction is going on. I don't think any club or franchisee will sign that particular player. Next use case is quite simple and easy to understand, like fan engagement and content generation. Since Gen AI is using for the content generation, so it's quite easy to, uh, on the basis of their historical data, we can create the content and share it with the team or with the fans, basically, to increase our revenue as well. And there would be a fan engagement because for every club, if the fans are coming to the stadiums, then they will act as a 12th man for the team. Next, and the most important thing is youth player development. I would say uh, the youth player development is most important, especially in the country like India, where we are not having the much, you can say, the success in other sports. We are doing well in hockey and other badminton and other sports as well. But if you will see the tally of our Olympics, gold medal or the number of medals is quite less as compared to other countries. So most important thing is here, like football academies or youth development programs, they need to identify the young talent for the success of their upcoming games. So in football, let's say if a player is starting playing football in the age of 10, 11, 12, then he will get some proper guidance, proper nourishment, proper nutrition, proper plan, and then he can become a professional player. But at the same time, if you will see the Ronaldo, Messi, they have started playing football at the age of 5. So we have to create some kind of plan where we can. It's a major topic, like how can we create a sports environment to our young kids. But here, the its most important thing is there with the help of Gen AI, we can evaluate the capability of our young talent. We can then once we will know about the young talents, we can analyze on the basis of their tactical understanding, physical attributes, mental attributes, and provide the recommendation to the training programs for their programs like positional development, career pathway, or particular, let's say if we are a striker, how can you can enhance the skill of that particular young kid as a striker. So it's important, like if we will invest a lot in our youth player development, it will also increase the performance at some point of view. Some point of during, let's say for Olympics, we are training a kid from the age of 5 to 6. He is having a pathway. He's having the all the details like the physical attribute detail, mental attributes, skill development program. So Gen AI can also come up with this kind of things so that we can work on the youth development as well. So before going to the demo, guys, do you have any question? Mm-mm-mm. If no question, then I can proceed with the demo as well. Uh, in the demo, I will show you one Power BI project where I think it's not developed by me, but that Power BI project gives you some insight like how the football analytics is done and what would be the final presentation can be created. And in next demo, I have scrapped some data for the match of Manchester City and Manchester United, and then we will store it. I have already stored in the Azure data storage, and then we can see like how Gen AI will provide you the details related to the match summary, player development, or I would say the scouting report, or how can we improve our team. So we will just put some queries there in our demo, and we will see how Gen AI solution will work. Give me a moment. I'm sharing my screen again. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, Ashish.
Okay, perfect. So this is the Azure portal, and I have already created the solution here, so I can directly go to my chat resource group. So it's inside our subscription, and these are the resources that I'm using it. So let me go directly to our Azure AI Studio. So as I have already mentioned that Azure AI Studio is in the preview stage, but this is a solution that you can utilize, and there are so many models catalogs are there. So let me directly go to my project. But let's say if you are planning to create a new project, you can come here, log into your Azure AI Studio, click on this new project. So you can add your project details here. I'm creating a new project, and then you have to create your resources here. So click on create new resource, enter your hub details. So hub would be like you can say all the resources, all the projects will become inside one hub. So inside one hub, there would be a number of resources would be there. So I'm creating a AI hub. I have selected the resources, resource group would be there, and the location you can select. So there are limited location here, and on the basis of your requirement, you can select your location. So there's an option here, help me to choose. So you can select your model that may be required to you that you're planning to use. Let's say GPT, assume that you are using GPT-3. So now uh, uh, it will provide you the possible option that you can utilize to develop your solution. So once you will select your location, you can create your OpenAI from here as well. So OpenAI solution would be created. We will be using Azure AI search as well. It will be help to index our documents. Okay, let's assume we will click on it. So it is already deployed. So I am opening up my current project. Okay, before going to my project, let me show you one small demo, like how football player analysis looks like. The final report is here. It is developed by Imam Woodham. Uh, the data source was fbref.com. So there can be n number of data sources would be there for football. So the so many websites are providing. So let me show you one example of one of the website that I'm prefer to use to fetch the data. So this consists of all the data set available for the football clubs. You can select any player or any uh, country or team, and you will get the data from this website. So you can scrap your data from here. Then you can perform the processing, and you will get the result from as well. So there are a number of websites are available for the data source. And here is an example, like this could be a static data source as well, since the data won't change, or you can utilize the few APIs where you can store this kind of data in your storage accounts or the databases, and then you can start your processing. So this is like one of the best example. How can we utilize our football analysis here? You can see here there's a option to select your league. So all the data from all the leagues are available here. Select your any league, let's say Premier League. I have selected. So the club on the basis of that leagues would be here. So let's say you have selected everything. Once the selection is done, it will shortlist the number of players, and after that you can select your metrics as well. So metrics will change as per your sports. So here we are selecting the football. That's why we have the metrics like assist or dribbles. Let's select the goals as a metric, and here we will select one more metric with respect to goal. It would be shots, the shot which is taken by a player. And we can see that Jamie Vardy has a number of highest goal with, and the Salah and other son Cristiano Ronaldo, these are having the highest number of goals. while the shot will be taken by highest is Mohamed Salah. So we can just correlate, okay, Salah is taking the highest number of shot, and that's why he's having the more goals as well. So we can just make a correlation, like if you will take more shots, then the goals will be there, more goals would be there. And you can see that the figures would be in the 0.75 or 4.4. It's not showing the entire total number of goals because here we have divided by 90. A football match is played by 90. So these are the stats on the basis of per 90. So let's say one player has played 5 matches. He has scored 4 goals. So he will get a game time of 5 matches. So 90 multiplied by 5, 450 minutes he has played. And on 450 minutes, in 450 minutes, he has scored 5 goals. And one player who has played only one game and he scored 2 goals. So you can say like, okay, he played only 90 and he scored 2 goals. So the best player would be the player who has played only one game. But on the basis of this, like the stats, we have divided by 90. That's why you can see this much of a score. So by per 90 stats, Salah is having the more number of shot and he is having the goal ratio of 0.75. And this is a diagram, and this is the radar chart on the basis of your player. You can also select, like, let's say, let me select Ronaldo, and we want to compare this Ronaldo with, let's say, Salah, Mohamed Salah, and it will give you the radar chart. So we can see that the Salah is having the dark blue chart, and it is having the more uh, assist, more number of touches in the box, shot creation, shot creating action. We can select one more player. Let's say KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, and there would be one more map. And on the basis of this radar chart map, we can just compare the player. So this is one of the best example, like how we can fetch the data, we can optimize and analyze that data, and we can come up with this kind of report so that it will be easier to understand like what is the performance of a player, how much we have to bid on a player to sign him, and we can also evaluate the team performance on the basis of player. So let's move to our Azure AI Studio again, and we will open our project. Inside our project, we can see there are a number of data set that I have already uploaded. Give me a moment again. So this is the hub where you can see all the connection which will be integrated with this hub. So OpenAI integration is done, AI's integration is done, and there are the blob storage as well. Inside hub, we will be directly go to the portal from this link, and then we will have the Visual Studio chatbot resource group and the storage account integrated with this one, while you can manage the permission from here as well. In the Explore tab, you can see the n number of product catalog that I have already shown you. You can select your catalog and see the features related to that one. Let's go to the build page where we will, it's quite same like OpenAI. We will be having a playground. We have an option to evaluate our model. You can add your manual evaluation as well here. Prompt for fine tuning. Fine tuning is, I think, right now it's only limited to few region and few models, but maybe in future it will be provide you more details. The data set that you can add over here, indexes for all the Azure search you can edit here. The list of models you can come and deploy from here, this side. And of course, the content filter, you can create your content filter on the basis of the harsh and other components you can uh, create from here. So let's go to our AI Studio. I have already put my data here, but you have an option to put your data model here. You can add your index here, and then let's say I have already added some, I forget my index name. I hope it is the one. But on the basis of your requirement, you can add your index here. For prompt engineering, you can change your data set, or you can take some prompt sample from here and just put your details. Like if you're looking for hiking recommendation chatbot. So if you will click any of them, or let's say hiking, use prompt, and you will get all the prompt or system message over here. I think example will also come. No, example is not coming, but you have an opportunity option to add your examples as well. Once it is done, other option for OpenAI AI Studio as well, like you have other option as well, like completion or images, and you can also deploy to your web app as well. Import and export your configuration from here. View code, you can see how these things are work. But I would recommend, like, Azure is already come up with a SDKs. You can utilize that SDK to customize your solution. Once everything is done, you can deploy to your web app, and I have already deployed to a web app where this is my final output. So before going to this one, if, uh, anyone has any question on related to this AI Studio?
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, means the similar way we have in the organization we applied using AI Studio.
Mhm.
But how can we integrate this particular use case into Copilot? Is that means
See,
I can able to only see that we can only use that web application, not into the Copilot Studio.
you want to integrate this with Copilot Studio.
Yes.
The entire, yeah. To be honest, like I haven't explored Copilot a lot, but this is something that I can explore. But usually, I didn't get a chance to integrate this with Copilot, so I won't be able to answer right now. But maybe I can connect with some expert and let you know.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah,
Because
but
in our organization, there are some use cases. But when I am directly using the Copilot Studio for this with the prompt
mhm.
engineering, it is the accuracy is pretty low. But the same application, the same use case, when I am trying to use it in a AI Studio, the accuracy is very pretty good.
I see, I see. Actually, even I didn't get a chance to use Copilot. I'm not pretty sure. I mean, there is an option like to integrate. There would be an option because both the products are from Microsoft. But let me explore this, or maybe I will reach out to you personally after this session.
Yeah, sure. That will be a great help.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Uh, Apology for this. Like I didn't explore
Not a
this, but
problem. It's a new product, right?
yeah, yeah,
Everyone is
yeah.
in the mode.
Yeah, see, to be honest, like for last few days, I'm just utilizing this product, but it is having so much of issues, errors. I have to having a discussion with Microsoft. They are saying that they are just maturing this product, so maybe soon there won't be much issues there. But I would say there would be integration. There will be there, of course.
Hmm.
Mm. Any other question, guys?
No, that's it for my side.
Okay, so a few more things here. I have already deployed my this particular project to my web app. So this would be the end project where we will having a chatbot solution, and we can ask the data for our match. I have already scrapped the data and put it in the storage account. So it will be sharing some uh, Gen AI content for related to that particular match. So we have already asked the match summary of Manchester City and Manchester United, where the Man City won the match by 3-1. Now we can ask for player performance. So first of all, we will ask like who is the best performer of the match and the you can say the worst performer. So since we are using this solution, I what I have noticed so far, the response time is quite slow here. It is taking too much time. Somehow, right now, it's fine for the demo, but for last few days when I'm working on this, it is having issue while sending a request. I'm using S Note pricing tier right now, which is right now available, but maybe in future there will be a few more pricing tier, and we can optimize our backend solution as well. So yes, on the basis of our document, it has provided that Phil Foden is the best performer, and on the other hand, who's that worst performer? Okay, it is not getting the data from our data sources. But so let's generate a report of Phil Foden. So we will say create a player performance report of Phil Foden on the basis of stats. What else we need? Okay, let's have a player performance, a detailed player performance. We can mention like this. Or in football, we usually say scouting report. Scouting report that will be shared with the coach. It's taking time to generate the answer. Let me ask a few more queries as well. Okay, so it has started the giving the answer. So does on the basis of the performance, okay. So here's a report. All the stats would be there. The gender overview of a team player, shooting analysis, dribbling analysis, his physical attributes, tactical awareness would be there, defensive contribution, and a short summary of that player performance. So we have already checked the player performance report from here on the basis of his stats. Now we can share it with the coach, and coach will analyze. Now Manchester City won the match. Let's see player team performance report. Create a team performance report, or in football we say opposition report. Let's say I'm working with one of the club who is planning to play a match against Manchester City. So this report would be a opposition report on the basis of stats against Manchester United, and let me know how can we beat Manchester, or we can mention that Man City team. So let's see what would be the answer from our Gen AI solution. Or guys, if you have any queries or question related to that you want to ask with this solution, just let me know, or you can paste it in the you can mention in the chat. I will just ask a few more questions and see. You can get the performance report of a Manchester City. Key players would be there. Shooting analysis would be there. Defensive strength, weakness would be there, and the strategy to beat a Manchester City team on the basis of the stat that I have provided to them. Let's compare a few players. Compare KDB with uh, Bruno. Bruno Fernandes is for Man United, and the KDB, let's say on the basis of stats. KDB is from the Man City and Bruno Fernandes is from the Manchester United. So we will be comparing the result. So anyways, I think that's a wrap from my session, that we can get the football data, or you can say any sports data. We can clean it up, process the data, store it in our databases, and then with the help of this data, we can create our Gen AI solution, and we can pass this kind of application to our team management, so that instead of going to the long process, they will have a chat application. They can chat it over there and then plan their strategies. So yeah, you can see the entire the differences there. Like they have compared with defensive action, ball handling, dual position, and same we can do it for the youth developments. Once you will be having, let's say you have an academy, you have the youth players who are playing there. We can fetch the data and we can see how can we uh, enhance the performance of our youth development team. And at the same time, we can also utilize our Azure ML solution, which I haven't discussed here. But if you will have the Azure ML or Databricks solution, which is used for training your model, that would be really great. You can train your model, you can use your GenAI solution and prepare this kind of solution for your team management. So I think that's a wrap. If you have any question, just let me know. I'm happy to answer your queries. I mean, it's like a kind of a use case that I would like to present here. Um, you can see in India ecosystem that there are so many sports out here which may require this kind of solution. So as a part from Azure team, we can come up with this kind of solution. We can pitch to our team and provide some Gen AI solution to the team. Maybe I hope like the team like sports team like football, hockey, or other sports maybe require this kind of solution, and then we can enhance our team, enhance our sports team, and that will be help to gain more medals or more achievements in our international level. So that's a kind of use case, and maybe our investor may require to develop this kind of solution for our sports team. I'm pasting my LinkedIn profile in the chat. Just give me a minute. So if no question, then we can wrap up this session. And thanks a lot, organizing team, to giving me an opportunity to present my session in this Global AI Bootcamp. So thanks a lot, guys.
Hello, Note, have you joined? Our next speaker is joining shortly.